Ryan Garcia firmly believes that Terence Crawford has no realistic chance of defeating Canelo Alvarez when they face off in September. He argues that Crawford didn't look impressive when he moved up to 154 pounds to fight Israil Madrimov last August in Los Angeles. Garcia points out that Crawford struggled to impose himself against Madrimov, and his power didn't translate well to the higher weight class. Despite Madrimov not being particularly large for a super welterweight and lacking the knockout power of someone like Canelo, he was still able to land clean shots on Crawford throughout the fight. From Garcia's perspective, Crawford looked like an aging fighter, lacking the strength, explosiveness, and durability needed to compete effectively at higher weights. He believes that this is a clear indication that Crawford will struggle even more against a physically dominant and experienced champion like Canelo. Garcia also suggests that, had the judges focused more on the impact of the punches, the decision could have easily gone in Madrimov's favor. He argues that Madrimov landed the more effective shots throughout the fight, while Crawford's punches lacked their usual sharpness and power. Garcia is convinced that if a rematch were to happen, Madrimov would win decisively, exposing Crawford's limitations at 154 pounds. He takes it a step further by claiming that if Crawford were to face some of the top fighters in the division, such as Bakram Murtazaliev, Serhiy Bohachuk, or Virgil Ortiz Jr., he would struggle badly and could even be overwhelmed. In Garcia's view, Crawford's best days are behind him, and he is now vulnerable against bigger, stronger, and younger fighters who are naturally built for higher weight classes. This, according to Garcia, is why Crawford's chances against Canelo are extremely slim. Garcia further claims that if it weren't for Riyadh Season funding the fight, the matchup between Canelo and Crawford wouldn't even be happening. He argues that Canelo had no genuine interest in fighting Crawford, and only agreed to the bout because of the massive financial incentives involved. If the fight had been based on merit, Garcia believes Crawford would have been required to prove himself by moving up in weight and taking on dangerous super middleweights like David Benavidez, David Morrell, and Osles Iglesias. However, Garcia is adamant that Crawford would have lost all three of those fights, likely getting knocked out in each one due to his size disadvantage and lack of power at 168 pounds. He insists that Crawford simply isn't built to compete against naturally larger and stronger fighters, making his upcoming fight with Canelo an uphill battle from the start. In Garcia's eyes, Crawford's attempt to move up and dethrone Canelo is nothing more than wishful thinking. He believes that Crawford lacks the physical attributes, power, and endurance required to handle a champion of Canelo's caliber. He also dismisses any notion that Crawford can outbox Canelo, stating that even if Crawford tries to rely on his technical skills, the sheer size and strength difference will eventually overwhelm him. "He can't beat Canelo, no way," Garcia stated in an interview with Akin Reyes and Barack Bess. "I don't see him beating Canelo. He didn't even look that strong against Israil Madrimov last year, to be honest, and Madrimov isn't even that big." Garcia makes it clear that in his view, Crawford is biting off more than he can chew, and September will be the fight that exposes his limitations once and for all. Garcia also highlights the drastic difference in durability between Crawford and Canelo. While Crawford has been dominant at lower weight classes, Garcia argues that he has never faced an opponent with the level of physicality and granite chin that Canelo possesses. Canelo has been in wars with some of the hardest hitters in boxing, including Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Dmitry Bivol, yet has never been visibly hurt or knocked down. In contrast, Crawford has never had to absorb the kind of power punches that Canelo is capable of delivering. Garcia believes that once Canelo starts landing clean shots, Crawford won't have the durability to withstand the punishment. He suggests that even if Crawford starts the fight well, the sheer force of Canelo's punches will wear him down as the rounds progress, leading to a likely stoppage in the later rounds. Another major point Garcia makes is Crawford's lack of experience against truly elite opponents in higher weight divisions. While Crawford was dominant at 140 and 147 pounds, Garcia argues that his competition level has been nowhere near the caliber of fighters Canelo has faced. Canelo has consistently fought the best available challengers in multiple divisions, taking on world-class opponents year after year. Meanwhile, Crawford's biggest win came against Errol Spence Jr., who was struggling with injuries and weight issues leading up to their fight.